You have 2 of those now?
Oh, this guy's cool. You can touch his stomach and he poops out ice cubes. Here you go. Hey guys, it's DT. Welcome back to another impromptu episode of DT's Big Unboxing Show here on the channel. So I was not expecting this box to arrive today. However, when I came home, it was sitting on the doorstep. So I thought I'd bring it down here and share it with you guys. So today we're gonna be taking a look at the brand new quarter scale Iceman from XM Studios. So if you guys watch my other channel, DT's Geek Show, you may remember that I opened up a 1/6 scale Iceman, and that one was to go together with my smaller 1/6 scale X-Men collection that I'm putting together to go with my XM Sentinel. But my main collection is composed of larger quarter scale X-Men, and this guy is gonna fit right in. So without further ado, let's open this up. So the box was so big, I couldn't get the whole thing in frame on the table, so here it is on the floor. Let's get her open. And we have an art print. Here it is. It's got a pretty cool artist rendition of the statue. Here's the look at the contents, which we'll see in a second. Instead of the assemblage booklet, we have an assembly video. However, I don't think it's ready yet. So hopefully we can put this thing together without instructions. Black box has been obtained, and now we can open it up. Before we get to the foam, we've got the credits here on the side and some information on Iceman. Looks like we've got one single layer with this one. Okay guys, and here's what we get. There aren't a whole lot of parts here. I don't believe there are any switch outs with this piece. We did get our black box, which has our plaque. Got a few of these now. So here's a look at the Iceman plaque. We've got a base, an ice slide, and Iceman, and a bunch of little icicles. The base is pretty much the only thing that has some color on it. It's a Danger Room base. I guess this is like a big cannon, or maybe part of a Sentinel with the purple and blues in there. Here's a look at the ice slide itself. Very large peg. This is somewhat translucent, so they couldn't use any really dark pieces and parts that you could see through. There are a couple magnets right here, but from the other side, you really can't see it. So that's a tricky thing when you're doing ice or anything translucent or transparent. You gotta be aware of things you can see through. It's got a translucency, but at the same time, it's got this kind of white and blue paint to give it a frost look. So here is a look at Iceman. This thing is a beauty. So unlike the other Iceman, this one is a little bit more opaque. We can't see completely through him, which I actually like. It gives it a little bit more depth and contour. You can actually see shading in there. You can see the highlights, the lowlights. It really lets them accentuate some of that muscularity. You can't see all the way through him. It gives him some substance, but yet the light still passes through it, giving you the illusion that it is ice. He's all one piece, so there's no seams on his neck. Very nice, and then his eyes are whited out and he has some like blue eyeliner on. So he connects with 2 long pegs. I think the peg goes up pretty far into his leg, and then on the right foot he has a peg, but it actually has screw threads on it. I'm guessing there's a nut that goes on there that keeps him in place. Then we have his 2 arms. He's got 5 fingers on each one. That's always a good sign when you're opening up very fragile statues. His hands look very nice. He's got a magnet in this one, and then this one, he's just got an open palm. We have some random ice pieces. So stuck on this little magnet, we have our wing nut that we're gonna use to attach Iceman. I'm not sure if they put that there on purpose so people wouldn't lose it. If you guys are missing your wing nut, check the magnet, it might be stuck on there. Here's his ice blast. Here's another chunk of ice, a little icicle, and another blast. Okay, so that's gonna do it for the unboxing. Let's bring this guy over to the table and get him assembled. Okay guys, here he is, XM Studios Iceman. Iceman, aka Bobby Drake, made his first appearance along with the rest of the original X-Men team in X-Men #1 back in 1963. You can see him right here on the bottom left corner throwing some snowballs at Magneto, and he looked a bit different back then. He didn't really have a face, and his body was more like a snowman than an Iceman. He is, of course, an Omega level mutant. Not only can he freeze things and manipulate ice into these giant slides, but he can also freeze light and create ice golems that can help him in battle. No, seriously, he can do that. Okay, so here we have the statue, very stunning piece. Let's start off here with the base. At first glance, when I was looking at pictures of this, I thought this was actually a statue that was sitting on a scale. But upon closer inspection, I see that it is actually a Danger Room base, which is nice because I have a bunch of X-Men that are Danger Room themed. Basically has sort of a metallic look to it. I have to say that I prefer the Danger Room bases on some of the sideshow pieces that I have. The floor seems a little bit more glossy, a little bit more alive with some of the detail. One thing that this one has that the sideshow doesn't is the cross sections here where you can see all the inner workings of the floor. We've got all these little coils and tubes and mechanical parts. So that part's cool, whereas the sideshow bases are just the rock subfloor. We have this cool gun, kind of got those Sentinel colors like I mentioned earlier. Nice detail in that as well. It's kind of got a frosty look to parts of it, and it is quite wide if you're going to display it like this. But this part is really a sub base because the main feature is this giant ice slide. I think they did a great job with the sculpt on this. It really looks like ice. There are some really smooth, glossy parts to it, as well as some more rough, chiseled areas, much like you would find in a real chunk of ice. It's got some great perspective to it as well, as the back of it here is smaller and it gets bigger in the front, so it creates an illusion of more depth than it actually has, and it really makes it seem like Iceman is coming right at you. So moving up to Iceman, he's got this super cool leaning dynamic pose. I love the crazy extreme angle this guy has. It just creates so much movement. He's well supported. He has rods in both legs that come out with these very long pegs. One that you actually have to screw in. You can see the rods in his legs. However, it looks like they're coated with a light blue paint, and it almost looks like tendons or veins in there. So even though you can see that, it blends in really well with the rest of the statue. We have the same blue that's used as shading around his body to accentuate his muscularity, and it really gives the piece some depth. His skin appears to be a little bit jagged and rough to suggest that he is actually made out of ice, and he's lacking some of the smooth, rounded elements that you would expect from soft skin. You can clearly see his little ice underwear sculpted in there. He's got the nice belt details as well. His little ice muscles look great. He's got some great musculature in his back. He is definitely a ripped piece of ice. Very happy that they made this one piece to avoid any type of seam in his neck. He's got a clearly defined hairline, chiseled jaw and cheekbones, and a very serious expression on his face. Of course, his arms connect separately, so there are seams there, but they are very tight fitting. They're cut very well with the edge of his deltoids and his biceps. Musculature on his arms look great, and the hands look excellent. He's got clearly energy flowing through his fingers. His left hand has a lot going on. He's shooting out an ice blast from the palm of his hand, and then he's got sort of this ice energy ring that is surrounding his wrist. There are a couple of trade-offs with having this power effect, and one of the trade-offs is you can see the magnet from the back of his hand, and it's pretty clear. It almost looks like a battery. I'm not going to be displaying this guy from the back, but if you were going to be putting this somewhere where you could see the back, I can see where that might be a little off-putting. You can also see where the rods insert into his wrists, but again, from some angles, that's not going to be that noticeable. If you don't like these power effects, they can be removed. He will, however, have a hole in his wrist. It's not too noticeable from afar, and this can also be removed, but you see the magnet from the front as well. But without these power effects, you can really see the great sculpt in his hands. I actually think it looks pretty cool without the powers, but since it does cover up that magnet, I will put it back on. The assembly on this thing was pretty easy. There were a few extra little ice parts over here that you have to connect. I actually had to refer to the picture because they were very hard to see. Everything blends in very well, so you could probably leave those off and not even know that they were supposed to be there. This is where he screws in. There's actually a piece here that you can remove that kind of covers everything up, and it's got this long threaded bolt with the wing nut that you just tighten up. It does have these two big magnets here, and once you put this on, you can see the top one pretty clearly. Again, it's in the back of the statue, so if you're looking at it from the front, you're really not going to notice. Okay, so here is my other Iceman. This is the 1/6 scale Diamond Select Iceman that I reviewed on the other channel. If you guys missed that, click up there, check it out. But this is a very cool piece as well. As you can see, two very different approaches to the same character. This guy is much more translucent or transparent even. He's slightly more blue, and of course he's smaller scaled. He doesn't have the hair. He's a bald Iceman. I think they did a pretty good job with this guy. He is a lot cheaper. You can find him for under $180, whereas this guy is more than triple that. So which one is better? Well, that depends on your budget and what your collection looks like. If you're going the larger, more detailed route, obviously this guy is the one to get. Best licensed quarter scale Iceman out there. I don't even know if there is another Iceman out there, but I don't see anything beating this anytime soon. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys prefer the more opaque iciness of this guy, or do you like Mr. Melted Ice Cube over here? And here he is next to another recent X-Men edition, the White Queen, Emma Frost. And if you guys want to see an unboxing of her, make sure to check out my video on my other channel, DT's Geek Show. Another exquisite piece by XM Studios. So they are just killing it with this X-Men line. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have coming up, and hopefully I can complete the X-Men setup so I can share it with you guys. Okay, so that was a look at Iceman. Make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Subscribe to my other channel, DT's Geek Show. Make sure to check out that giveaway we're doing this weekend. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.